Good Monday morning, everyone. The first Monday in October, and truly the Fall Classic is soon to be upon us. We start the Division Series playing baseball this week, and I'm going to go over the games with you that are going to be played and how I think the series may wind up. Let me just first of all say I've got a lot of Braves fan friends, and they have given me a lot of grief because I didn't pick the Braves to make it out of the wild card round. And hey, that was a bad call. Cincinnati. How did I know? How did I know Cincinnati Red players would leave their bats in the dugout and not hit the ball at all? How did I know? Tell you what happened. The Braves pitching was superior. I mean, it was outstanding. I think it was the first time ever in a series. I know they only played a best out of three. But I think it's the only time I've ever seen where the losing team, the Reds, never scored at all. It was two shutouts. So Atlanta Brave pitching, kudos to you this morning. You get the award of the day. So to my friends out there who said I was dogging on the Braves, it was just a prediction that was wrong. I'm usually right some of the time, but yeah, I was wrong on that one. The National League games start tomorrow, so I'm going to talk about those tomorrow. But I want to talk about the two games today. American League Division Series, 4:07 p.m. Game number one. It's Lance McCullers for the Houston Astros, Sans the Trash Cans, versus Chris Bassett of the Oakland Athletics. And I think this is an interesting selection on both sides. You might have thought Greinke. No, it's McCullers. Why? McCullers has been hot going down the stretch. And for Oakland, you got a lot of choices. But they went with Bassett because Bassett has been oh so consistent over the last month of the season, including the wild card round game last week. So this game is at Dodger Stadium. That's right. Dodger Stadium, game one, 4:07, McCullers versus Bassett. My issue with Oakland, okay, the lack of offense that they showed, but then they started to come around against the White Sox. Houston, my concern is the lack of a deep bullpen. And I think that's going to be the Achilles heel. I think that's going to be what differentiates the Astros from the A's in this series is the lack of the bullpen. Liam Hendricks is incredible. I think that's going to be the difference. I'm going with the A's to advance in the ALDS to the ALCS next week. Now, here's the one. Whoa. The Yankees and the Rays fastly becoming one of the most talked about rivalries, fastly becoming one of the biggest rivalries amongst the teams. The things you read on Twitter, they're staying together in the same facility, and they're playing these games at Petco Park in San Diego, California. A pitcher's park, remember. Petco's more of a pitcher's park. I think Dodger Stadium over the years, with new stadiums being built, has sort of not favored either pitching or hitting. But I think Petco favors pitching. Does that help the Yankees more in game one with Garrett Cole? Or does that help Tampa more in game one with Blake Snell? First pitch, 8:07. I don't want to predict this one. I'm not going to predict this one. I think it's going to be some great baseball. Why don't I want to predict it? Because you can't predict with your heart. I can't pick the Yankees because I like the Yankees. Tampa's got a great team. The Yankees have a great team. I think this goes the full five. I think you could see Cole again. I think you could see Snell again. Now, think something that's interesting. The Yankees have announced that catcher Kyle Higashioka will be the primary catcher for Garrett Cole throughout the rest of the playoffs. So tonight you'll see Hagasoka behind the plate, not number 24. We won't be able to dog on Gary Sanchez tonight. He will not be in the lineup for sure. So with Hagasoka behind the plate against the Rays on Monday, this will be Cole's 6th consecutive start. He's a superior defensive catcher, but he's not much of a hitter, okay? But he will be catching tonight. Now let's look at some DFS plays in this series today, okay? And series odds. Actually, the Yankees are the odds favorite to win the series. You've got Garrett Cole against Snell in game 1. You've got Tanaka and Glasnow in game 2. Happ and Yarborough in game 3. Devi Garcia and Charlie Morton in game 4. And if necessary, Cole and Snell in game 5. So all of these, as far as DFS plays, I think on Monday I got to go with Garrett Cole. Now, Cole has had 2 great starts against the Rays this year and 1 rough one. He piled up strikeouts against the Rays, but he was hit for 5 home runs in 16 innings. Now, Snell could be a good pivot in DFS today, but he has struggled in the past with the Yankees. Tomorrow's game, Tyler Glasnow, incredible strikeout stuff, but dicey command. He's had success against the Yankees this year in 2 of his 3 starts, the most recent being a 9 strikeout outing where he went 6 innings. Tanaka has a solid history against the Rays, not very effective against them this season. Risky play for game 2. Pitching is look, I believe this. Pitching is chancy in the playoffs, period. I think the Yankees win the series, but I think it's going to be a tight series. For pitching for the Houston and Oakland, I told you it's going to be McCullers and Bassett today, Greinke and Luzardo tomorrow, Framber Valdez and Sean Manaea, and then Christian Javier, combination of Jose Urquidy and Mike Fiers and Frankie Montas. I think more Montas than Fiers. Last game out, Fiers absolutely had nothing in the tank. And if we have a game 5, I think you're back to game 1 starters, similar to what will happen in the Yankee-Tampa series. A little baseball information for you. Clevenger and Lamet. Clevenger elbow, Lamet biceps will likely be last-minute decisions in regard to their availability in the upcoming NLDS against the Dodgers. They're playing those games in Texas. The 2 pitchers, according to Jace Tingler, the Padre manager, quote, they're playing catch. They're building up. They will do bullpens if the catch play goes well, end of quote. That didn't tell me much. Clevenger and Lamet, we know, were forced to miss the wild card series against the Cardinals. And if they don't play against the Dodgers, I just don't see the Dodgers having much of a fight here. I think the Dodgers just steamroll. I really do. Paddock's not pitched that great this year. He didn't pitch that great in his 1 playoff game against St. Louis. Do you really think he's going to shine against the Dodgers? And if he does, how much confidence do you have in Zach Davies against LA? I don't. I think the Dodgers will eat his lunch. Sterling Marte, Marlins outfielder. They're playing tomorrow again, National League's tomorrow, American League's today. He's uncertain as to his availability for the National League series against the Braves. You remember he was hit by a pitch in the 9th inning of the last game. He fractured his pinky finger. And the club has, quote, no determination on his status. We shall see, right? So those are just a few notes, a few nuggets. Busy day this Monday for me. I'm going to tell you guys, I've got a lot going on. I've got to get out of here in a few minutes. I want to just briefly talk about NFL and fantasy week this week. I think I told you guys I'm on a if you ever played fantasy football, you haven't really played fantasy football until you've played in a 14-team, one quarterback league. There's no meat on the bone for waivers. You gotta hope if you pick somebody up that they're a handcuff and they'll eventually play. Okay, I picked up McKinnon for San Francisco at the beginning of the year. Jerick McKinnon. We'll talk about Jerick McKinnon in just a moment. Last night, the 49ers played the Eagles. I don't pull for either team, but for fantasy purposes, I pulled for the 49ers because I had two 49er players on my roster. One of them, Jerick McKinnon, going into the game last night, my matchup, I was down 10 points, half-point PPR. I had two 49ers. My opponent has Julian Edelman and Rex Burkhead tonight. I'm 10 points down, so I figure I got to score at least 35 points last night to have a chance, right? Edelman, what if he gets 15? What if Burkhead gets 10? Then there's 25 for my opponent. I'm already 10 down. There's the 35. Okay, so last night, McKinnon, 19 points in my lead, 14 rushes, 54 yards. He had a rushing touchdown, 8 passing targets, 7 receptions, 43 receiving yards. I don't know if Jerick McKinnon is available in your league, and I know Mostert's coming back soon, but McKinnon was playing the week when Mostert was on the field. First week of the year, Mostert starts. McKinnon still gets 11.9 points in my fantasy league for me. Each week he's increased. Week 1, 11.9. Week 2, 13.7. Week 3, 15.2. Week 4, last night, 19.2. Big help, right? So there's 19 of the 35 I needed. And who was my other 49er? It was Greg Kittle. Greg Kittle. You know, Kittle played the first half of the first game, went out, high throw from Garoppolo, landed weird, hurt his knee. Didn't play week 2, didn't play week 3. In week 1, I lost by 1.5. In week 2, I lost by 2 points. Had I had George Kittle, had I had him, which I didn't, a frog had wings, right? Wouldn't bump his rear. But if I'd have had George Kittle, I would have won the first 2 weeks. Proof in the pudding, last night, check this number out. He had a rushing attempt for 8 yards. But that's just the start. 15 targets, 15 receptions, 183 receiving yards, a receiving touchdown. He almost caught a Hail Mary at the end of the game. The 49ers lose. But he got me 32.6 points last night in fantasy. So when you combine McKinnon and you combine Kittle, I had over 50 points last night, and I was hoping beyond all hope to get 35. I'm now up 144 to 103. So I've got a 41-point lead. Again, he has Edelman. He has Burkhead. The Patriots play that makeup game, postponed game against the Kansas City Chiefs tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm feeling pretty good about my week. What do you think, guys? I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go to 2-2. I'm playing an undefeated team. This will make them 3-1. And therefore, I could be only 1 game out in the standings with a whole lot left to go. Made a trade yesterday. Learned 2 things. First of all, I'm a quick to the button kind of guy, okay? And I'm a big Raider fan. So Josh Jacobs is like a guy I'd love to have. We're watching the Cowboy game yesterday. They can't defend me. Their defense is absolutely horrible. If you watch, you know what I'm talking about. My brother, watching the game with me, is a Cowboy fan. And midway through the game, he says, man, I'd trade Zeke Elliott. I'd trade him. He isn't what he used to be. You can get anything for him, trade him. So took him at his word. He had also advised me earlier in the day to start CeeDee Lamb, and I had elected not to do that over Michael Gallup. CeeDee Lamb yesterday scored 22 fantasy points, Michael Gallup 4. So feeling bad about that choice I made, I thought I should have listened to my brother about that. He's a Cowboy fan, surely knows what he's talking about. I blew it on Gallup and Lamb. So if I should trade Zeke Elliott, I'll trade him. So I offered him a couple of teams, got him for Josh Jacobs. So I'll have Josh Jacobs the rest of the year. My opponent I traded with will have Zeke Elliott. My brother calls me this morning and said, never listen to me during a game. The Cowboys are losing, and I'm frustrated. Well, good luck to my opponent who has Zeke Elliott. Good luck to me with Josh Jacobs. We trade for different reasons. I know that Cowboys have some cush games coming up the next 3 or 4, but I know after that they have a tougher schedule. They play Baltimore later in the year during the playoffs. They play the Steelers later in the year. That'll be a tough game. And frankly, the Cowboy defense, it's just not good. Just not good. So we'll keep our eye on that one. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to go sell some houses. How about that? If you're in the area and need a house, give me a call. We'll talk about it. Hope everyone has a great day today. We got games on this afternoon, starting at 4 o'clock, Houston and Oakland. 8 o'clock tonight, the Yankees and the Rays. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. We'll talk about those right here on Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports.